antivirus. Now I got this thing in my way. We keep collecting things. We keep collecting things. And, you know, when I thought I lost it, it was a very awful moment that I kept to myself and I didn't let myself suffer. It was just like, fuck. You know, I'm supposed to take care of these things. But then I found it. And I realized I didn't destroy it at all. Hi, how are you? I'm okay. I'm feeling a little bit dry. Oh, let me get a drink. Is that any better? I feel better already. A collector. I just did a video about a collector's prize, my dad's pet. And here it sits. It's mummified. It's something I don't know if he did this himself or if he got it out of a dollar auction basket at an auction sale. Anybody take this for $1? Sometimes they say, we'll give you $1 if you take this. My dad says, I'll take it. And he ends up with all this weird shit. And, oh, it's like a mummified squirrel is all we can figure. It was in my way. It was supposed to go into the dumpster up in my dad's garage when we were cleaning it out, and I'm just like, I can't let it go. And I'm like, I have to. And then my brother, he says, you sure you don't want it? I'm like, as a joke, he doesn't even know what I'm thinking as he's throwing shit into the rubbish bin. You sure you don't want this? I'm like, I gotta have it. And so there it is. And now it's in the way. It's a collector's prize. Any space you have in a room that isn't filled requires a really, really serious level of hoarding. When you get down to the bottom of it, you gotta keep only the shit that you can justify. It's a human trait, justification. No other animal justifies what it does. It does it to survive. It does it because whether it knows or not, that's the way of the world. We humans, we justify things. I got a fucking mummified squirrel on my fucking windowsill, getting in the way of my Dio shirt. Look at that. Ha! 90.5 FM KSGS San Jose. Before I was ever... No, it was after I was in 90.5. It was at the end of it. But somehow, I won tickets. Geez, I thought I won tickets on the radio. That's how I got to Guns N' Roses, where I was walking through the Palace in Auburn Hills. I'd won tickets on the radio, and Fryer's friends from Detroit that I knew, they happened to be there. I didn't know it, and I was going to take a piss, and I heard behind me, Rich, and I did my fucking short-term memory. What was that? I heard my name. It's selective attention, you know, it's Cherry. It's the guy that, the cocktail party effect. You can hear a rubble going on all over in the fucking room. Rubble. And you hear Rip, Archie. And you go, what? And you turn around, the same guy that says proximity creates liking. This is a lesson also. This is a Judas Life Coach video. The same guy that came up with selective attention, Cherry's cocktail party effect, was Cherry that came up with proximity creates liking. If you're living, this is an example, in an apartment building where you see a person consistently, but you're not familiar with them, they're always so friendly. And so suddenly you're like, gosh, what a nice guy. I ought to fuck him. And you fuck him, and he turns out to be the biggest asshole in the world, shuts his phone off, doesn't pay his bills, doesn't answer any of the fucking problems you got coming. There's gonna be a problem. I don't fucking care about you. He moves. It's easy to think that somebody is a nice person when you don't see them enough in their real life to know what they're like. You realize when I do these things, I'm talking to a mirror, basically. And what I realized when I said that, looking at myself in the eye, is that what you see of me is the real person. People just trying to bang your sister are going to be assholes quietly until the day they do, and then they can let it out. I'm an asshole. ASSHOLE. I'm an asshole. It's not me. I was singing Dennis Leary's song. I get, this is word association, you know. It just moves. So, this thing. I hear my name. I run into people all kinds of places, and I've told you, I ran into a guy in Puerto Rico that I'd once met in a trailer in Indiana. That's a very small place out in the middle of a fucking wilderness. Watched Edward Penis Hands in his apartment. And then in Puerto Rico, as I'm cleaning off the vehicle after evaluating their National Guard, I hear, Archie? I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody knows my name? But that was purposeful. I run into people. I do. I am starting to believe that the further you take yourself out into this world, the less strangers are left to scare you. Yeah. Everybody loves you or fears you, one or the other. As long as everybody can get along, I don't care whether they love me or fear me. I don't care whether I love you or fear you. If we can get along, things are going to be okay. Because everything can go to shit really quick when everybody gives up on fucking getting along. Siete? So you run into people in places. And here I am. I won tickets to see Iron Maiden, and or I got them from the station. I think I was done with the station. Doesn't matter. You don't care. You're like, get on with it. You should have edited it out. Of course I should have. But I'm trying to get things straight, and I want you to understand that things are straight. I'm standing on the side of the hill, and I had Mountain View Amphitheater, just like Pine Knob would be in Detroit, just like Castle Farms used to be in Charlevoix. An amphitheater. You stand on the grass and lawn, you're like, you can roll down it, you can get kicked out, and you can get a scar. Like when I saw a show at Kid Rock and they slammed me to the ground and threw me out, I showed them my strength, though. I'm there at a Dio and Iron Maiden concert. So glad to have been able to see Iron Maiden. So glad to have been able to see Dio. And I'm standing there with this guy that I was working with that gave me a ride because I wasn't driving. And I said, "You want to go to the show?" Okay. So we go to the show. Standing there watching it. The sun's just setting, going down. It's still light enough. And I hear my name. And it was, geez, I wonder if Archie would be around here. Because it was Vizanko from Fort Bragg. Once brought his friend Doug over. His friend Doug came to visit him at Fort Bragg when Vizanko and I were there together. And so we're friends. And we know each other. And then I end up out there in San Jose with Vizanko, and I see Doug, and it's like, so we know each other, but we haven't seen each other in years after this because there was some weird shit went on that if I were to tell you, it might implicate somebody in something that might affect their fucking job. Probably me. Siete. I'm standing on the side of the hill with Carl, and I hear Archie. That Cherry's cocktail party effect, this selective attention. I hear my name out of all the rabble. And in my head, I hear, same way as at Castle Farms when they said, keep an eye out for Archie. He might be here. When I was going to the toilet, not Castle Farms, Auburn Hills Palace. And there were two friends. And I turned around and said, what? And they were like, ugh, I was there. I was shocked that they were there. I heard my name and it was somebody that knew me. It happens all the time. And I'm starting to wonder. And so there on the side of the hill, I hear Archie. And I said, what? And I realized, keep an eye out. It's possible that Archie could. We haven't seen each other in years. We hadn't each other's phone numbers anymore or anything. And I turned around and Vizanko was standing directly behind me on the side of the hill with Doug. They're both there. And it was us. It was us. All together again. They called my name and I was there. And we were excited. And then this Carl guy that I worked with, he's really not like me. He's just there. And at one point I did what I love to do at amphitheaters. I roll up like a cannonball and I just go, buh-buh, 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 and I roll down the hillside. And there are times when you do like 1.5 spins and you bounce and you bounce and you bounce and everybody goes crazy. And right at the bottom you come up. I did it at Slayer at Pine Knob at their last show. It's just, you come up and you stick the landing and you slide the last 5 or 10 feet because you're going at a high velocity. And you go, yeah! And you run up. And so I did that roll during that time after we ran into each other. And later, Carl told me that Vizanko looked at him and looked at Doug while I was rolling down the hill, and he said, same old Archie. I mean, this is like 20 years later, 22 years, 22 years later. I saw him in 23, 2 decades and more. And he says, same old Archie, and I take that as a compliment. And I say, oh, Dio, you brought me back to Vizanko. Why is it that every time somebody says my name, I'm there. Do you think the computer simulation has come up with the idea of a God that doesn't know he is? I am the way. I am the light. Call my name in the middle of the night. Under the light of the gibbous moon, the men folk scream and the women swoon. The poets cry and they put their faces down. The screaming indifference of an empty sound. Gibbous moon tonight. Deal. I've worn this shirt 3 times in my life since 2003. August 28th, I made somebody look at the date on it, on the back. Because I pretty much don't wear anything, buy anything, unless I've been to it. If somebody wants to give me something for free, it'll cover me in the winter. Everything's gonna be okay. But what is it about people calling your name and you being there? It's like you don't even know that it's happening. You have no control over the situation. Keep an eye out for him. I heard he was gonna be around.